Homeschooling Worth It? That's what we're going to talk about today. But first, it is a collaboration with Daisy over at Journey in the Home. Please go check out her channel and the playlist down below with all the other moms that are going to be sharing with you today. Is homeschooling worth it? If you're new here, I'm Nikki. I'm a homeschool mom to an only child in 4th grade, and I want to share with you my thoughts. So stick around. I think that people used to think of homeschooling as the easy way out, for religious purposes, for, oh gosh, I mean, it was not as common of a thing, and people didn't hear about it as much. And now that people are hearing about it, people have a lot of opinions, and a lot of things are changing in the world right now. I feel this huge pull to homeschooling because it exploded, and so many people are seeing the benefits of homeschooling. And I always get comments like, wow, I really wish I could do that. I really wish I could be like you. It sounds like so much fun, and it sounds amazing, but like I have a full-time job, or I have 6 kids and a baby and all of these things, and there's always a but, okay? And I always respond back with, but you can if you want to. But let's not get this misconstrued with the ease of that decision and the ease of thinking that this is easy. I'll just buy a curriculum and we'll school at home. It is worth it on 10 million levels to homeschool, but don't think it's easy, because it's not. It is not easy. It is a lot of involvement. It is a lot of planning. You are always home with your child. So much goes into it. It's like when you are mama bear and you're trying to make sure that they have a well-rounded life as just their mom, being their mom. Then you have to add on that extra level of, now you're in charge with actually controlling their education on top of being mom. It's really hard to wear all the hats, and I'm not trying to sit here and discourage you, because it's not a light choice to make, but it's so worth it. I'm going to tell you why it's worth it. Number one thing is the freedom of flexibility, styles, learning styles, choice. I am not married to a curriculum. I am not married to any set of anything. I can do whatever I want. Now, this comes state by state. Obviously, other states have other requirements, and you have to look what your laws are in your state and how much freedom and flexibility you do have. But even within those laws, it's still pretty flexible. But I can cater everything to my child's interest. It is very much can be child-led learning. She could sit here, she can help me pick curriculum, she could tell me what she thinks will work, what she thinks will not work, and I'm gonna have to sit here and go, okay, I have to be on the same page as her, otherwise it's not gonna work. So many times we have come through the whole like, well, I really like it because it's pretty shiny and I bought all the things, but in reality, it's not really what's gonna work for her based on how well she learns or the style of her learning. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration when you're homeschooling. Is there a benefit for your child to be at home for you, or are you working so much that your child isn't going to get that experience the way that a family could go out and meet up at play dates and go to all the functions and do all the things? Because I think that plays a really big role into your choice to homeschool, is that you still have to have the freedom to be able to do those things, because that's what homeschool is all about. It's not sitting down at a table and formally schooling. It's about the community, the freedom to go play, the freedom to go to the park, the freedom to go on vacations and field trips and anytime we want with all other homeschoolers, all other like-minded individuals typically in your homeschooling community. It's a big deal. That's where your kids are learning. That is where your kids are learning life skills. That is how you are functioning in your homeschool, is by getting out. And I know that's not for everybody or for every family, but I feel that that's a big, crucial part in ours. That is the only way we survive over here. I have an only child, so homeschooling an only child is hard enough in itself, just like homeschooling a family of 6 would be. They all have their own struggles and hards, and it's something you have to choose as your hard. And I'm literally her everything. I'm her teacher, her mom, her friend, her playmate. Like, I'm all of those things because she doesn't have siblings. So I have to incorporate time in our schedule to be able to allow for the community and the groups and the play dates. And when we get into rough spots in our schooling, I think that is typically in the winter. We're more at home. We're butting heads a little bit more because we're not able to get outside because it's freezing outside, or whatever it is, winter in Chicagoland. So I tend to gravitate towards friends at this time. I try to plan as many play dates as I can. I try to plan as many outside activities as I can. Not outside physically, just outside of our house. Because that is going to give us those breaks, so it doesn't feel like we're just confined in our house. But it helps me to see that when I go out, other people are going through these rough spots too. And trust me, 3rd grade was the roughest spot we were ever in all year long. It was a struggle. We fought, we bickered, same thing as fought, I guess, but it was a big deal. It was a kind of pretty traumatic year for us. So sometimes you have to take a step back and unlearn some things. You have to lower your expectations. You have to sit and analyze what is not working. Why is it not working? And I feel like I was pushing myself to think that it was curriculum based, but not everything is curriculum based. In my case, it ended up that we got a ADHD diagnosis. So I think that played a huge role into her being able to do her work where I was not in the right mindset of going, wow, sometimes I'm the problem, and have to take myself and check myself, basically. Okay, is it me? Is it her? Is it both? You have to evaluate. You have to take a step back and look at the big picture and try to see what's wrong. And then those rough patches, once you figure it out, or you continue trying to figure it out, and be communicating. Ask them questions. What's going through your mind right now? What are you struggling with? Is there something that's not working? Is there something on your mind? Anything, you have to communicate it. And breaks, lots of breaks. That is all the motivation that gets me through those stuck moments, knowing it is just a moment. It is going to end. It's just a matter of how long it's going to end. So keep in mind, nothing lasts forever, and your child will grow, and your child will tend to grow out of these moments. But change has to be happening for anyone to heal or change from anything or move on. You have to have change somewhere. But yeah, it's so worth it just for the benefits of, like I said, the freedom, the child-led learning, the field trips, being able to take vacations all the time, anytime you want, being able to school on the road, That's a huge thing. If we want to go on a road trip and take a family vacation and we know we're going to be gone for 2 weeks, I can pick up my curriculum book and take it with us. I can prepare for something fun if I know we're going somewhere fun, to go check out a state park and get educational value there. Check out, you know, a museum or some type of thing where my child's going to learn about it. It doesn't always have to be from the curriculum book. So that is always something to keep in mind. And the whole thing is, like, she's learning life skills. She is speaking with and interacting with kids of all ages. She is not just limited to kids of the same age. She is speaking with adults. She can have conversations with adults. She can ask and order her own meals at restaurants. She can, you know, she's very well spoken. And I attribute that so much to homeschooling. And even before that, like, we included her everywhere. We took her everywhere. That lifestyle was just, the bond that is created is worth a million times it's worth homeschooling for. Just the bond alone. We are creating a relationship that I hope that she looks back on in 10, 20 years and goes, wow, look at all my mom did for our homeschooling, and we were great and we were amazing, and she taught me and I learned, and it was this great experience. And it wasn't even about the learning part of it. It's just knowing that, like, you're creating this relationship with your child that they can blossom from. That is probably the best part of homeschool for me. I was raised by my mom mostly because my dad passed away when I was young. And so having to be at work all the time, and my grandma having to be my babysitter, and she, you know, took me places, did a lot of things with me, and I have a lot more memories with her. And when we were contemplating homeschooling, I just remember, like, looking at my husband and going, I want those memories with my kid. I want to be able to say that my kid remembers doing those things with me, because I didn't have a retired parent to just, like, babysit my kids. I wanted to be that person, and I am blessed and privileged to be that person. And I get that that's not always the case for everybody, but if I could make that happen, I would. So we did, and it's all she wrote, because I don't see any other way to this at this point. Homeschooling is just a big blessing, and I never ever could have imagined what it has done for us as a family, what it has done for us as individuals. My mindset shifts from homeschooling. I look at things differently. I approach things differently. But I definitely think homeschooling is worth it. If you have a child with mental health or learning disabilities, that's also a really big one. That is something that you can definitely cater to your child and make their experience worth it and not really hard for them. I know so many of those kids go through so many struggles at public schools because they just don't have the help that they need. And you can be that help. You can help your child learn at home. There are ways to do it. There are resources to do it. And knowing now that, you know, we're dealing with the ADHD diagnosis and anxiety and all these things that my daughter struggles with, it's a big deal for me to be able to look at that, provide the resources for her, teach her about it, and be able to sit here and work with her, be able to sit side by side and see what's going wrong, what she needs help with, and to accommodate her needs instantly, 24/7. And that is a huge benefit. These lasting, unbreakable bonds and moments will be treasured forever. So I know my thoughts on this was kind of all over the place, but is homeschooling worth it? Absolutely, 100% worth it. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments. Don't forget to check out Daisy over at Journey in the Home on her channel and the playlist that's linked down below. And I'm curious, is homeschooling worth it to you? What is your motivation for getting you through those really rough patches? Or maybe you're not homeschooling yet. What's holding you back? Start the conversation in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video.